All right. What's up, everybody? Of course, you know I'm JT Magnum, and I've never done this before, so I don't know how many people are in here or if anyone's in here because YouTube doesn't really show you. So, if you're in here and you're on Twitter, let me know that you're in here, first of all. At JT underscore Magnum 816 on Twitter. You can let me know that you're in the chat, and I'll be glad to say hello to you. And then there's also, if I don't see your question inside the chat, please feel free to tweet me the question, and then I'll answer it on here. And I'll read the question on here as well, so that way when people rewatch this video, they're not going to be like, who is he talking to? Is he talking to himself? But this is my first live show. This is week one live Q&A, which is obviously question and answer. Anything you want fantasy related, whether it be you've already obviously done your drafts, and you probably need some lineup questions, or you need some help with, starting, certain person over a certain person, or if you have a difficult decision up ahead, you might wanna figure that out. But I'm here for you for that for an hour. You got till 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my time, to ask me anything you'd like, and I'll try to talk about all kinds of different things here while people are, joining and trying to ask me the questions. So, my rankings for this week, I have. I'm gonna actually put them on the screen here. I have for my top QBs, it changed a little bit, obviously, because Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger already played, so I redid the rankings a tiny bit. And obviously, Aaron Rodgers is now number one. Peyton Manning number two. Sam Bradford number three, and so on. You can read the text there. And I have everything up here for schedule wise and everything to make sure I remember who plays who and who plays what, because sometimes you can forget who plays what and stuff like that. And what's up, Brian? How you doing? Brian Roach has just come into the chat. So Aaron Rodgers this week going against Chicago Bears, who have no defense whatsoever. They lost a few people, along with gained the old San Francisco head defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, and you know that he's been known to do a lot of good defensive schemes with those 49ers, but I don't think the Bears have quite the talent that the 49ers do on defense. So we shall see what he does with that team, considering who they're playing and stuff like that. But he has put in good game plans against Aaron Rodgers, although I still think Aaron Rodgers will be lighting it up against that Bears secondary. Magmatic, what's up? How you doing? And then also, he's always done some like pretty decent game plans, like when the 49ers have played the Green Bay in the playoffs or when they played in the regular season. But Aaron Rodgers still could throw for 300 yards and throw for a couple touchdowns or run for 1-2. He's just that type of quarterback. You never sit him. Like, you just don't. The only time I think I'd ever sit him is if they're playing the Seahawks. The Seahawks just for some reason do well against him. And well, obviously it's the LOB, but that's the only time I'd sit him, and I'd have to have a pretty decent quarterback to fill in that has a really good matchup. To like, it almost has to be like another quarterback with a dream matchup to be able to sit in Aaron Rodgers. How much you never sit him? Like, a lot of times I sit people on here, and a lot of people ask me, how could you sit him? You can't sit him. I'm not necessarily saying sit him. I'm necessarily saying he's probably going to have a bad game. So if you have somebody else with a very good matchup, if you have somebody else with an amazing matchup, like if you know the Cleveland Browns, they suck against the run. You have Adrian Peterson going against the Miami Dolphins or something, and you don't know, because the Miami Dolphins probably going to be so good against the run last year, like the Detroit Lions were, with Ndamukong Suh anchoring that line. And you have somebody like that, and you have, somebody going against Frank Gore going against the Cleveland Browns. Believe it or not, I would start Frank Gore over Adrian Peterson that week, especially if it's a game where it means something. You might want to you want to get those extra points, or you need those extra points. Those are the situations where I do it, and a lot of people won't do it. They're scared to do it, because you always start your studs, and I get it, I understand that, but those are the kind of things I'm talking about when I say sit them. Sometimes you don't have to sit them. I mean, if you got somebody else that sucks on the bench, why would you start your studs? Always start your studs. So that's what I'm saying basically when I do those things, and that's how it is basically. But like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to tweet them at me or whatever, or feel free to put them in the chat here, and I'll answer any questions you got. But these are my quarterback rankings. I'll go through all the rankings. They all redone. I'm going to actually upload them after this. After I get off from doing this show, I'm going to upload them all to the website so that you guys can all see them. And then tomorrow, tomorrow before the games, feel free to tweet at me. I won't be home and around until after 10 a.m., but 10 a.m. Eastern time. But if people have last minute tweets or last minute decisions you need to make, feel free to ask me on there. I'm going to be putting the rankings on here after this show, and then I'm going to be answering all the comments in the comment section, because holy crap, there's so many comments in the comment section. And Siggy's kind of busy. Siggy's been busy with him, close to having a baby. I actually don't even know. I haven't texted him, so I don't know if he's even had his baby yet, but I don't know how busy he is. So I'm going to have to find out from Siggy what's going on with him, because he hasn't been in the comment section, I've noticed. So I'm gonna handle all the comments, and then I'm gonna do I'm gonna probably spend some time with my wife, because she's gonna kill me all this time on here doing all this stuff. So Brian Roach is asking, in 2 leagues I have Alshon Jeffrey. Should I bench him for Larry Fitzgerald or Danny Woodhead in PPR? I would tell you Larry Fitzgerald if Alshon Jeffrey doesn't play. I'm not sure if he's even going to play yet. Let me look on here, but I haven't. From what I've heard, Eddie Royal is going to be the man this week, because for some reason I think Jeffrey's hurt. But let me find that out for you right away here, if I can, because I don't even know where to look sometimes on these things, because they don't show it very much anything anymore. Sometimes these players are up to date. Sometimes these injuries are up to date, but sometimes they do not put the injuries up to date. So it's really hard, and I'm not a reporter, so it's really hard to find the right, correct info you need. Let's see here. But I would tell you, if Jeffrey's hurt, I would definitely tell you put in Fitzgerald over him. Danny Woodhead's all right, but you got to remember, he's going to be splitting time with Brandon Oliver and Melvin Gordon, where Fitzgerald is going to be playing straight up with John Brown. I'm not sure if Malcolm Floyd's playing in this game. I think he's missing the first game, but even if he does play, it's going to be Larry Fitzgerald, John Brown, and him, and Larry Fitzgerald's going to get some targets. But Danny Woodhead, yeah, he'll get some targets here and there, but he's not going to be playing the whole game where Larry Fitzgerald will be. Nicholas Zimmerman asks, Mike Evans or Nelson Aguilar. I would check on Mike Evans' status as well. I think he's going to play. I think he's questionable. Don't hold me to that. But from what I heard, I believe he's questionable. Nelson Aguilar is one of those. He's not starting. I believe Josh Huff is starting. But Nelson Aguilar is one of those dudes that he's going to be in there immediately, especially in that spread offense that Chip Kelly runs. I love Nelson Aguilar. He's definitely one of my sleepers this year. And but I would check if Mike Evans is starting. If Mike Evans is playing, you got to put him in. I mean, he's going against who the Titans playing. The Bucks are playing the Titans. Titans don't really have that great of a secondary. I would definitely start Mike Evans if he's available. If he's questionable, if you're not sure he's gonna play, then I wouldn't start him. But then I obviously start Aguilar. Yeah, see, I'm not sure. Camber, hey, how you doing, Camber? I hope I say your name right, Camber Arena. If I say it wrong, I apologize. Who you got, Jags or Panthers? For defense, or do you mean like to win the games? If you mean for defensive wise or to win the game, I actually think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win that game. If you mean for defense, I would say Jacksonville's over Carolina's in that one. Oh, let me switch these rankings for you guys. I get to talking and I forget to. I have to actually run the stream here. Let's see here. For I'm looking at. Looking at the schedule here, the NFL schedule, and I'm looking at the who these players have right now. I'm trying to figure out the starts. It won't let me know the injury reports. It's pissing me off. Um, to win, yeah, I'm gonna have. I would say Jacksonville. Jacksonville, I think, is gonna actually beat the Panthers this week. I think Jacksonville's an underrated team. People don't realize they actually came on pretty much late last year. Like they were doing pretty well last year. The defense is starting to come together a little bit, and they're a team. They're a team that they're not going to make noise as in playoff noise this year. I said playoffs almost like more playoffs, but they're going to make a lot of noise this year. They're going to beat some good teams this year. They're going to surprise some people. And I think their defense is actually a lot better than people think this year. But the Panthers have no wide receivers right now. They're a little bit of, they have no offensive line to help Cam Newton. They have no wide receivers to help them. They have Jonathan Stewart, a good running back, but they have no help on the offensive line. And that wide receiver squad, when Benjamin went down, that probably sealed Cam Newton's fate this week, and that's why I dropped him on the rankings a little bit. But you never know. I mean, the Panthers could. I mean, maybe they can play a really good game. I just think that at home with Blake Bortles playing as good as he's been playing, and the defense probably going to step it up, I think they're going to beat the Panthers. So, but these are my running back rankings for the week. I love Chris Ivory. I've talked about him before this week, and a lot of people actually were saying they love Chris Ivory this week as well. I looked at a lot of other websites to check on some stuff to see if they match up, because I like to put my rankings out before everybody else puts their rankings out, because I don't want nobody saying that that I copy off of other people's rankings. I make my own. I do it based on who I think is going to be good on defense and stuff. So Jeff Shannon, and if I just stop talking, that's pretty much because I'm reading the chat here. Jeff Shannon's asking, how good do you think the Packers D will do this week? I love the Packers D, especially against Jay Cutler and them. But the only thing that I'm be wary about is garbage points. I think the Packers are going to blow out the Bears. So when you have blowouts, you're going to get a lot of garbage points from Jay Cutler. So if you're talking about fantasy-wise, fantasy points, if there's a blowout involved, you're going to get those garbage crap points. They're going to let Jay Cutler pass the ball around because they're going to start playing that prevent. So, but I do love them a lot this week. I have them actually ranked. Let's see where I have them ranked. I think I have them ranked 3rd or 4th. I have them ranked 5th on my list this week for top defenses. So I definitely like them a lot this week. John Matthew asks, should I keep stashing Devin Funchess and Chris Johnson or look for something better? Depends on what's better in your. I guess it depends on what's better in your waiver wire. I haven't done a waiver wire yet because I don't usually do that in the first week. But I mean, the first week I do that week 2. But because that's when I get to see, you get to kind of get a feel of who's on the waiver wire and who did good after the first week, or who might do good later. But Devin Funchess is definitely someone you want to keep, because I don't know about Chris Johnson, because Andre Ellington's on that team, and Andre Ellington's the main primary guy, and he does a lot of catching as well and running. But Devin Funchess, he's a guy that I definitely want to keep. He's going to be basically the Calvin Benjamin. He's going to be Calvin Benjamin this year. Excuse me. Sorry, I just had something to eat. So, he's definitely going to be the Calvin Benjamin of this year. He's a tall man, tall wide receiver. And from what I heard, all the reports during the training camps and everything, what I heard was Devin Funchess was actually looking better than Calvin Benjamin, and he was looking pretty strong and solid in the camp. And they were thinking that him opposite Benjamin was going to be so good because they were both going to be uncoverable because they're so tall. You just throw the ball up to him in the red zone, so if they even make it to the red zone, he's going to be hard to cover in space, especially like those short routes. I mean, he's not somebody that's going to go deep all the time because he doesn't have that kind of speed, but he can catch the ball over anyone, being that tall and with that kind of leaping ability. So I really like Funchess a lot. I would get rid of Chris Johnson though. CJ2K isn't CJ2K anymore. And I will try to get somebody else for him. BJ Ryo, Who should I start? Macklin, Funchess, Robinson, or Torrey Smith? I would stay away from Torrey Smith this week. I'm not sure what the Niners are going to do, being obviously fan. Um, I would start Macklin and Robinson. I like Allen Robinson going against the Panthers secondary. Funchess, I'm not sure about yet. I'm not even sure if he's playing with that hamstring or how effective he's going to be with that hamstring pull. I know he had a little bit of an injury to begin the season with. I'm not sure if he's even going to play or if he's listed as questionable or probable or what yet. So I would monitor him to see if you want to start him. If he does start, I would play him because he's going to get you some points, and I would play him over Robinson. Nicholas Zimmerman again asks, do you start Melvin Gordon or Danny Woodhead? I would start Gordon to begin the season. He's starting. So if he's starting, I would start him over him. He's going to get the goal line carries, I believe, over Woodhead. But then again, you never know with San Diego. They could be one of those things where Melvin Gordon runs the ball, and you know who gets the goal line carries? Not even Denny Woodhead. It'll be Brandon Oliver. that team, I would wait to figure out I would go with the starter first and then wait to figure out who the goal line back is going to be or how they're going to use Melvin Gordon in the goal line situations. He's a strong back, so I don't see why they wouldn't use him, but we'll see how they use him there. And if they go into a passing situation in the goal line, then of course Danny Woodhead comes in because he's the pass receiving back, although Melvin Gordon has good hands as well. Magmatic for flex, should I go Chris Ivory, Darren Sproles, or Steve Smith? I would go Chris Ivory in a heartbeat. Chris Ivory, people forget Cleveland Browns defense. They did nothing this year to shore up that defensive line, and they are ridiculously bad at stopping the run. And I don't think they're going to – and the Jets' offensive line is built to run the ball, and I love Chris Ivory this week. From what I heard also, he dropped a couple pounds here and there, and he also did a lot of speed conditioning. He's trying to up his speed game. So he might be a little bit faster hitting those holes, and if he gets those holes and gets out in the open space, he's a load to bring down. He loves contact. So I like Chris Ivory this week. Des Bryant is probable. Do you think he's going to play? Yes. Probable means yes. Probable means heck yes, he's going to play. And you start him. Definitely start him against that Giants secondary. Of course you start Des Bryant. Rada Duff. What's up, man? How you doing, buddy? Toby Gerhart or Jamar Charles. I like Toby against the Panthers. Toby's not starting, though. TJ Yeldon is starting. And, of course, you start Jamal Charles, man. You got to be messing with me. I think you're messing with me. I mean, I know I said sit Jamal Charles. I know it's a big thing this week. But what I meant by that was if you have a better matchup, a guy with a way better matchup, and another basically player on your bench that just has a dream matchup against another person, then sit Jamal Charles. But you don't sit your studs. I know that for a fact. I gotta remember to say that when I do my show. But I would definitely start Jamal Charles over Toby Gerhart. And if Toby Gerhart scores 3 touchdowns and Jamal Charles doesn't score, I'm gonna feel bad for telling you that. But yeah, definitely sit Jamal Charles. I can't tell you what to do. You make your own decisions, but. Yeah, I would say Jamal Charles. John Matthew, if he comes back week 3 or 4, do you like Arian Foster this year? Oh, of course. Well, you know what, though? If he comes back week 3 and 4, yes, I like Arian Foster. I do like Arian Foster. He's one of those backs that he just scores. But the problem with Arian Foster this year, I think, is injuries. This year, a groin is not something easy to come back from, whether or not you got – and people are saying it's a sports hernia. It's not a sports hernia. He tore his groin. I believe it tore it off the bone. He had to have surgery. The guy that performed his surgery was a sports hernia specialist, and he performed his surgery. So I don't know where everybody's getting a sports hernia from. That's not what I heard, and that's not what I read. I've been reading everywhere it's groin. Anyways, Arian Foster he just scores. He does well behind it. He's a good running back. He's just a good guy. Problem is I think he's going to keep getting hurt. So I would stash Alfred Blue. If you have enough room to stash him, stash Alfred Blue or get another running back that might be good just in case when Arian Foster comes back or if Arian Foster gets hurt again. Brian Roach, what do you think of Steve Smith Sr. this week? I think Steve Smith Sr. is going to have a decent game, probably like 6 or 7 catches. I don't think he's going to get a lot of yards. I don't think he's going to be, doing that much this week, especially against that Denver secondary. And I think Joe Flacco is going to be running for his life. Denver's defense is really good. They're actually surprisingly good, and they have a really good defense against the pass with Chris Harris. That team is really, really good. That team is stacked. Aqib Talib, Chris Harris on the outside. They got good safeties, and on top of that, their pass rush is ridiculous. So I don't know. I don't like Steve Smith Sr. this week at all. Pero, I have one wide receiver slot open. Who should I put in there? Watkins, Decker, or Royal? I would put Royal. It looks like Alshon Jeffrey will not play this week, and Eddie Royals are going to be targeted pretty much the whole game. So you want a guy with high targets, especially. And Watkins is another good guy to put in there. Decker's going to be all covered by Joe Hayden pretty much the whole game probably. But I would put Sammy Watkins or Royal, and I would have to say Royal over Watkins just for this week. BJ Ryle, should I play Tevin Coleman at flex or put in a receiver like Macklin or Robinson? That's your decision. I actually have Tevin Coleman in my flex this week. I love Tevin Coleman going against the Eagles defense. Devontae Freeman's not playing, and Tevin Coleman's getting the start, and he's a very highly underrated running back. And I think the Falcons are going to definitely run because they have to establish the run to get that ball to Julio Jones, or they establish a pass for Julio Jones to set up the run. If they set up the run, Tevin Coleman's a good big back. Chance Wentley, sorry, I'm sorry about that. I can start 2. Who do I start? Kenny Stills, Brian Quick, Devin Funchess, or Kyle Rudolph? I would say, let's see here. I would stay away from Kenny Stills. Brian Quick, Devin Funchess. I would stay away from Brian Quick against Seattle. So there you go, right there. Devin Funchess and Kyle Rudolph. But I would monitor Funchess. Make sure he's playing. If he's not playing, start Brian Quick. But if he's playing, definitely start him and Kyle Rudolph. I would stay away from Kenny Stills going against the Redskins because I think he's like 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. Let's see. Any more questions here? Brian Roach. So would you bench Smith for Fitzgerald or Kendall Wright? I would bench him for Fitzgerald this week. Yeah, definitely. Going against New Orleans secondary is garbage. And they're missing, what's his name? Their cornerback. I hate when I don't remember names. Let me look him up real quick. Let's see here. They're missing their main cornerback. His name is Keenan Lewis. They're missing Keenan Lewis this week. He's hurt. They have the rookie. They basically have nobody. They have a couple rookies at cornerback going, along with a couple unknowns. I mean, you got the only one that's pretty much unknown is Kyle Wilson and Brandon Browner. And Brandon Browner can't cover deep. He's basically a press corner, and he's not gonna be able to cover anybody deep. So I'm telling you right now, you probably want to start Larry Fitzgerald this week. He's probably gonna go off along with John Brown. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? Doug King Serious, what's going on, buddy? Doug Martin, Chris Ivory, or Devontae Adams for flex? Oh, that's a. You know what? That's a rough one. I would say pick between Martin and Ivory. I like Devontae Adams this week though too against Chicago, but we're still not sure who. With Brett Favre, I almost said with Aaron Rodgers, he spreads the ball around so much. I'm not sure. You never know who's going to get the ball, but I think Eddie Lacy's the one who's going to go off this week against that Chicago defense. But I would say either between Martin or Ivory. Martin is a guy that people have forgotten about. Doug Martin is a guy that, I have a feeling he's going to go off against Tennessee this week. And Ivory I love against the Cleveland Browns. I've said it a million times this week. Ivory is the man this week. To me, he's a must start this week against the Browns. Until the Browns figure out how to stop the run, I would definitely start Ivory. He's a beast, and the Jets are going to run. They're going to run, especially with Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback to set up the play action. Rada Duff. Also, what are your thoughts on Blaine Gabbert this year? I think he should be starting by the end of the year. Yeah. He looked good in preseason, but it's preseason. Colin Kaepernick's the man right now. We'll see how Colin Kaepernick reads defenses this year and how he plays. But Blaine Gabbert actually looked better than Colin Kaepernick. I will admit it. I'm a 49er fan, and I'll admit it. Blaine Gabbert looked better than Colin Kaepernick, but he doesn't add that dynamic that Kaepernick does, and it's being able to run really well. Although Blaine Gabbert does have some wheels, but he's not Kaepernick wheels. So we'll see how that goes during the year. I don't think that Kaepernick's going to lose his job unless he's injured, and Kaepernick's built like a tank. I don't think he's going to get injured. So we'll see. Let's see. Thanks, Randall or Coleman. Beto says thanks, bro. Randall or Coleman in flex spot. What do you suggest? I would say, oh man, you know what? This is going to be weird. Cowboys are going to be running by committee. They're going to be running all three running backs. Christine Michael. They're going to be running Darren McFadden and Joseph Randall. Darren McFadden is the guy that I actually like this week over Joseph Randall, but Joseph Randall starting. I just think McFadden is just a much more explosive back, but I'm gonna say start Tevin Coleman first. I know that the Giants they're gonna be keying on that run, and whether or not they stop it because that Cowboys offensive line is great, you just know who's gonna be running the ball. There's too many guys that are gonna be running the ball from that team, so we're gonna see. I know they're going by running back by committee, where Tevin Coleman is the only guy gonna be getting the majority of the carries. Like they're not gonna spell him that much in Atlanta. Joe Banda, should I start Mike Wallace or Tevin Coleman in my flex? Mike Wallace against the 49ers secondary, I'm not sure because the 49ers secondary is still unproven. Like I said, I just know Tevin Coleman's going to get a majority of the carries, but Mike Wallace is definitely going to get some looks. So I would say it's your call, but I would start Coleman, but it's your call. Rams or Packers D, Magmatic. Rams or Packers D. I'm guessing you're gonna say Packers. Yeah, I'm gonna say Packers D. Rams D is good for some sacks though. They're definitely gonna be good for some sacks this week on Russell Wilson. But people are saying that Russell Wilson struggles against the Rams. He ran for like 100 yards and threw for almost 300 against them in the game. And this is the last game that they played that he didn't do that well against them. But still, I mean, he didn't do horrible either at the same time. So I would definitely say Packers D over Rams D this week. John Matthew, I have Owen Daniels and Zach Ertz for tight ends. Do you think they are sufficient enough for the season? Owen Daniels I love this week. And yes, they are sufficient enough for the season. Owen Daniels I love, period. I think he's going to be a breakout tight end this year only because he's playing with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning in that tight end game loves to throw to tight ends. And Owen Daniels already knows that offense under Gary Kubiak. Zach Ertz also is a very, very underrated tight end this year, and he's going to do well in that Chip Kelly offense. So I like both of them. You actually have two good studs, I believe, in tight end this year that people aren't forgetting about Owen Daniels, but he's going to do good. BJ Ryo, what do you think of Matthew Stafford this week, or should I play Carr? I see what you said. I like Matthew Stafford definitely over Derek Carr. Cincinnati has an underrated defense as well. They're still good against the pass. I don't know. At home, I'm not sure. Cincinnati can't stop the run, and the Raiders are going to run with Latavius Murray a lot. And you know that Matthew Stafford's going to pass the ball. That's what they do with Golden Tate and Calvin Johnson, Eric Ebron. They're going to pass the ball. And, of course, now Amir Abdullah. So I like Stafford over San Diego. Nicholas Zimmerman, if you are Alfred Morris owner, do you pick Matt Jones as a handcuff? I don't know what that means. Penis or penis? Penis. If you had Alfred Morris owner, I would leave Alfred Morris doesn't really get injured too much. I would keep I don't know. I wouldn't pick Matt Jones as a handcuff. No. Let's remove a comment there. There you go. We'll get the penis out of there. Do you think the Niners defense can at least stop Adrian Peterson from going off? I don't know. We're going to see. From what I've seen, the Niners defense against the run is not that bad. And they're still the same defensive line pretty much, just minus Justin Smith. And I don't see, them dropping off against the run. So we'll see what happens. But Adrian Peterson's an always tough running back to face. And a lot of people are forgetting Minnesota doesn't have their starting center, and they don't have their starting right tackle or left tackle. I think it's Load Hope. So they're just as bad on the offensive line as the San Francisco 49ers are. So we'll see what happens with that. But you always start Adrian Peterson. You got to, because if they get any kind of goal line situation, they're going to give the ball to him. And I've just been talking so much, I forgot to give you my other rankings. Sorry about that. There's your wide receiver rankings. Um, Magmatic, who will win, Cowboys or Giants? I'm going to say the Cowboys. I think they're going to beat them up pretty bad. Giants are. There's going to be a high scoring game, I think, but Cowboys are going to win. Miami 3.5 lock of the week. Yeah, their defense. Oh, well, for the spread. Miami against Washington. Yeah, I like Miami against Washington. Washington's got a highly underrated defense, but Miami's got a lot of weapons. They got Ryan Tannehill finally has just a ton of weapons, and they're a load, and they're going to be a load on defense. So yeah, I do like them if they're minus 3.5 points. Michigan State or Oregon tonight. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say Michigan State because of that defense. We'll see what happens, but Oregon doesn't have Marcus Mariota anymore. So I don't know. I'm not sure about their quarterback. He doesn't even look like he's the type of quarterback that even throws much. They have like that running offense again, but we'll see. But I think Michigan State, especially at home. Let's see. John Matthew. Many experts have the 49ers as one of the worst teams. Do you believe so? I don't buy what the experts say. A lot of people saying they're going to finish last in division. I don't buy that. A lot of people also, you know, those same experts were the ones who said the 49ers had the most depth when they were winning and they were making the playoffs until last year when they just went 8-8. Remember, the 49ers were winning at least 4 or 5 games in the fourth quarter that they lost. So they could have easily been 12-4 last year other than 8-8. But that's not the point. The point is that team was loaded with talent. As of the media, what they said, they're like, you know, they were basically saying their second and third string players could be starters on other teams. Now they lost the starters, so now those second and third string players are now, you know, immediately thrust into starting position last year, especially, and they still went 8-8. But now all of a sudden, since they lost the starters, now all of a sudden they suck. So I don't get how they could be the most, you know, loaded team along with, you know, some other teams, but now all of a sudden drop off just because they lost the coach and drop off just because they lost, you know, some players here and there. So we'll see what happens, but I have them going 10-6 this year. That's my prediction. I've already said it. I'm actually gonna say that today when I put up my video, my Niners news video, but we'll see what happens. Cowboys 35, Giants 24. Cooper over Cooks this week. I love Amari Cooper. I think he's gonna go off. I don't think he's coverable. So, but Cooks going against Patrick Peterson along with Tyrann Mathieu back there. I like Cooks. I don't think Cooks gonna be horrible this year. I don't think he's gonna be horrible, but I don't think he's gonna be like completely, you know, let loose in this game against Arizona. And I don't think Drew Brees is going to have time to basically even throw the ball with that blitz coming. So, yes, I like Cooper over Cooks this week. Jordan Cameron or Jason Witten for week 1. I like Jason Witten. I do. I like him a lot this week. I think Jarvis Landry's going to get a lot of the looks for Miami this week, but Jason Witten, reliable for Tony Romo, and I think he always does well against the Giants. So, yes, I like Witten. If I was to link my roster, could you tell me who to play? Sure. You can tweet it at me if you have a Twitter. At JT Magnum _ Magnum 816. If you want to link me the picture of it or something. Or you can link it in here. I mean, it's all good. You can link it in here in the chat as well. John Matthew, do you think Amari Cooper is the next OBJ? Yeah, he's good. I love Amari Cooper. I was hoping the 49ers were going to move up to take him. Honestly. That's how much I like Amari Cooper. Do you think Andre Ellington would have a good game? If so, how many points you think? I think Andre Ellington's going to rush for over 100 yards. I think he's going to get over 50 or 60 receiving yards. And I think he's going to have a couple touchdowns in this game. You can add the points up. Congrats to the Blue Jays for winning the AL East. I retweeted Siggy. He's a big Yankees fan. How do you think LaShawn McCoy would do? This week, I don't think he's going to fare too well. We'll see, because the Colts don't really have a run-stuffing defense either. So it depends on how he hits those holes. That Greg Roman offense, the way you have to hit those holes is very strong. And LeSean McCoy dances too much. He's too much of a dancer, I think, when it comes to running the ball. So if he learns to hit the holes better, then yeah, he's going to do well. Rodrigo, how do you think the 49ers run game will be this season? Better or worse? Their run game, I think, will be better this year than last year. The reason why I say that is because their runs aren't going to be so predictable, and they're running out of a zone scheme this year instead of running out of that weird Greg Roman offense that everybody started to figure out. If you noticed, the first year the 49ers were running very well. Second year, okay. And then the third year fell off a little bit. The reason why is because it was almost telegraphed. It was almost people knew the offense. They knew how to stop it. And it got too easy to stop the Niners run game. And on top of that, a lot of the offensive linemen were hurt. So I think the Niners run game would be better. Let's see. Justin Harding. In PPR, Mike Evans if he plays, or Allen Robinson, leaning towards Robinson. If Mike Evans plays, you start Mike Evans. If not, then yeah, obviously Allen Robinson. I like Allen Robinson a lot, but in the PPR, I think I would go Mike Evans. Joe Banda. How do you think Andre Johnson will do this year? I love Andre Johnson. I think he's going to have a career year this year. To be quite honest with you, he's finally playing with a freaking top-tier quarterback. Remember, he's played with Matt Schaub. He's played with with David Carr, with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like, he's never had a good top quarterback. Here's my tight end rankings, by the way. He's never had a good top quarterback to play with. I know he's a little older, but he's still a tough wide receiver. He still can get open. The guy is good. I'm just telling you right now, he is going to have probably his best season ever now under Andrew Luck. As long as he stays healthy. It depends. I mean, because he does have hamstring problems, and that those have been giving him trouble for the last couple of years. But if he stays healthy, Andre Johnson is going to be he's going to be a stud this year for people. I've been trying to pick him up on my fantasy drafts. People have snatched him before I've even got a chance to pick him up. Oh, here we go. Hectonics, I think, tweeted me his team. He has Peyton Manning, Adrian Peterson, Jeremy Hilton. You got a good team, man. T.Y. Hilton, Brandon Cooks, Jimmy Graham. Who's your defense? I don't see your defense. But yeah, your tight end start Jimmy Graham. Yes. I would probably put Jarvis Landry in for Brandon Cooks, but that's just me. Or you can make your choice. But I would put Jarvis Landry in for Brandon Cooks this week only. But man, you got a crazy team. If you have a flex, start Jarvis Landry in that. Yeah, I would start Peyton Manning, Adrian Peterson, Jeremy Hill, T.Y. Hilton, Brandon Cooks, Jimmy Graham, and in the flex I put Jarvis Landry if that's what you got. Holy crap, that's a really good team. I'll retweet it so that people can see your team. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? Teams are stacked because 2 people dropped out of the league. I see now. Let's see. Magmatic Johnson will have an amazing year with luck thrown to him. Oh, yeah, definitely. John Matthew, do you think Roddy White will actually do something this year? Yeah, Roddy White always does something. Whether it just depends on his status, whether he's injured or not. But Roddy White, just as much as Julio Jones, can get you about 800 to 900 yards. He's not going to get you that 1,500 or 1,200 like he used to, but he's definitely going to get you 800 to 900 yards. He's going to get you like 6-7 touchdowns. So if you want to use him in those positions where you have somebody else that sucks, and you want to put him in, do so. I have New England Oh, you had New England defense? Okay. Actually, they didn't do so bad this week. They gave up a lot of yards, but they didn't break and give up a lot of points. I don't think Roddy would do much. You don't think Roddy would do much? So here's my tight end rankings again. I'm going to put the defenses now this week. And they are always subject to change because I think I had the Panthers rated 4 on here, and that's just for sacks and turnovers. But I think the Jaguars, like I said, are still going to win. I just think it's going to be low scoring. The Bengals I have high up too. going against the Raiders. Who am I thinking? The Broncos. The Broncos I should have probably less than 8, but it's just because they're playing the Ravens, and the Ravens for some reason always do well against them. But like I said, I think the Broncos defense is legit this year. Like they're actually surprisingly good on that defensive front. On that front line is ridiculous, man. Holy crap! With DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller rushing the passers, that defensive front is sick. The only thing I think they're vulnerable at is they might give up a lot of yards on the ground. That's the only thing I see. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop the run as well, but they're definitely good against the pass. And those linebackers can cover. Man, those linebackers can cover anyone. Rodrigo says, "Do you think Tom Sudo's a good head coach?" Yes, I do. I am not. God bless Jim Harbaugh. I was a fan of his as well when he was coaching the 49ers, because I'm a fan of any coach that coaches the 49ers. But when it got towards the end of the third year, when we lost to the Seahawks, when the 49ers lost to the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game, I thought a lot of the calls were horrible. The calls on offense were horrible. And I blame Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman. I didn't like it. Just the offense seemed too predictable. The Seahawks just seemed to always know what we were doing, and that was just frustrating. And I got tired of the antics. I got tired of him, bothering the refs all the time. It seemed like we were getting bad calls all the time, and it seemed like they were doing it on purpose because of him. And it's just me, but I just felt it was time for Jim Harbaugh to go, and he left, which is good for me. I know a lot of people don't agree with me, and it's okay. You don't have to, but I hate when coaches just get all up on the team like that, and I wasn't for that. And I love Tom Sula. Tom Sula's a good guy. People are going to find that out this year when the Niners play. And regardless of how they do, the Niners are going to play tough. They're going to play hard-nosed football, and they like their coach. So, and that's a good thing. Let's see. Me and my league got rid of tight ends so that you can have a tight end, wide receiver, running back, because you don't have to have top 3 tight ends, and there is no point. That's different. Well, I guess every league is different. I usually play in standard leagues, so I never heard of anything getting rid of tight ends, but that's different. What do I think about the Oakland Raiders this year? With Aldon Smith now, they got a pass rush. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to do good. I don't know how great they're going to do in that division that they're in with Kansas City, San Diego, and Denver. I think they might win 7-6 games. That's about it. Should I trade Jamal for Jay Cutler and Wes Welker? No. Heck no. Heck no, don't do that. I really need a quarterback, and I don't think Breeze is good because Jimmy Graham left. No, keep Breeze. Do not trade for Jay Cutler ever. I would still keep Breeze over Cutler. I think Breeze is going to be a bust this year, like I said, but I don't think he's going to be a bust in the sense of Jay Cutler bust. So you don't keep Jamal Charles, keep Drew Brees. You got a good team. I swear, I think you're joking with me. Drew Brees still has 2 good tight ends to throw to. He's not going to fall off that much. It's just that they're running the ball a lot more this year. You're going to see a lot more Mark Ingram than you're going to see Drew Brees throwing. Drew Brees is not going to have to throw for 5,000 yards this year when you have Mark Ingram running the ball like crazy. And I don't see him just passing the ball that much. That's all I mean. When I say he's going to be a bust, I mean he's going to be a bust for him, meaning he's not going to have 45 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions with like 5,000 yards passing. I don't see that for Drew Brees this year. But their running backs, especially with Kyrie Robinson, CJ Spiller, and Mark Ingram, I think Mark Ingram's going to be unleashed, like I said, this year. And with all those running backs, they're going to be running the ball. They are much more run-oriented this year than years before. But Drew Brees is still going to be Drew Brees. He's going to get touchdown passes. He's going to protect the ball. He's still going to do well. I just don't think you trade ever. I hope you were kidding. I know you were kidding. You had to be kidding. You're messing with me. You're trolling me. Do you think DeMarco... Oh, no problem. Defis Access says, hey, JT, thank you for helping us. No problem. Joe Banda says, do you think DeMarco will do good this year with the Eagles because they have other backs? I'm so not sure if he'll get anything close to what he did last year. He will not get anything close to what he did last year. Heck to the no. Not with those 3 backs playing. They're going to spell him. And last year, he had something like 500 touches with the Cowboys, which is ridiculous for a back. Like, I'm surprised he didn't break down, but he will not be getting that many touches this year, but he will be over 1,000 yards. He's going to get you at least 10 touchdowns, and he's a good back. He is a good back to start, especially in that offense. They're going to be, you don't know, it's too hard to stop their passing game, so teams can't stack the box against him, and you're going to see him, he's going to get a lot of yards. Ryan Matthews is going to get a lot of yards. Darren Sproles is going to get touches, but DeMarco Murray will be the leading back on that team. For sure will be the leading back on the team. Nicholas is a Raiders fan for 27 years. Oh, yeah. I've been a 49ers fan since 1982, so for 23 years? 33 years? 33 years. Holy crap. 33 years, 49er fan. It's crazy, right? Been a fan since I was 7. How long before Roger Goodell gets kicked the F out? I don't know, but hopefully soon. I don't think he is. The owners will never. He's making the owners money. I think a chipmunk can be the commissioner of the NFL and make the owners money because the NFL is just going to make yeah, I knew you were trolling. Rada Duff, you kill me. I knew you were trolling, and I still answer the question, but I knew you were trolling. Yeah, Roger Goodell, I don't think he's gonna last too long if he keeps this up. I think I think the owners basically like to let him look bad and not them. So he's basically the scapegoat for them to look bad. So they want him to do stuff. They have him doing their dirty work. But when he loses, he looks like the fool, but they keep him there, that kind of thing. So I don't know how long it's going to be before Roger Goodell leaves. And I actually met Roger Goodell. I used to work in a restaurant in Bronxville, New York. There's 2 restaurants there that I used to work for the same owners. And the main one that I worked at all the time was called Sammy's Downtown in Bronxville. And Roger Goodell is a frequent guest there, along with, because I believe he lives near there, his wife. His wife orders food from there all the time. It's pretty cool. Anyways, moving on. I will try to do this every week, Magmatic. He said you should do this every week if you have time. I will try to do this every week I can. The only week that I might not be able to do this is Thanksgiving week. And I will be out of town that week, but if so, I'll try to have somebody else like Siggy do it, but he might be busy with a baby, so I'm not sure. Unless I try to do it a little earlier in the week instead of doing it later in the week when I have to fly out. So we'll see what happens with that, but I might be gone for a couple weeks, so I'm going to be putting up videos then. I'll announce it then what I'm going to do because I'm not sure how I'm going to work that, but I need to put the Stardom and Sit-em shows up on Tuesday, and I'm going to probably do them early, so I'm going to have to adjust those rankings and adjust everything early, and then try to put the rankings up on the website for you guys, because you guys are going to be like, holy crap, this guy, I might say somebody's start could be a start, and he might have got hurt the week before, but the only reason I'm doing it is because I did a video a week early, so those kind of things happen with me. And like I said, I always try to put videos up early because I don't want people to have Stardom Sit-em shows before me, because I don't want people to think that I'm copying off somebody else. I do my own rankings. I try to decide. Every week, it takes me hours. I look at the schedule. I look at the players. I look at who I think is going to do good against certain defenses. And especially now, after getting the first good look after week 1, I'll get a good feel for who might be good on defense and not. So hopefully I can get a good enough feel where I can start, putting some more quality rankings. The first week is always the toughest to try to put out there. I know a lot of people are fantasy experts, so to speak, but the first week is really hard because you never know how these teams are going to do on defense. You just go and buy off of what you think from last year or how you think they might have improved this year, and it's a rough thing to try to figure out. And not everybody is 100% correct in fantasy football. I mean, if I was 100% correct, I'd be a loaded man. I'd be rich. And obviously I'm not. So, I will say this though. I've done well in my fantasy football leagues over the years. I've won. It's just crazy, but since 2006, I wish I could put this up for you and show you all my stuff. But since 2006, I started playing fantasy football. I've won since 2006 till now, 2015. I've won at least one league or 2 every year. I've been kicked out of 3 leagues because I won a lot, and so they got a little pissed off at me and they kicked me out of the league. But I decided because of that I would do these things. And also I'm gonna give you some FanDuel stuff. If you guys play FanDuel, I'll let you guys know my lineups for this week. I have a couple teams on there, and I'll let you know those as well. But yeah, I will figure that out, and I will try to do this every week for you guys, and we'll see what happens from there. Brian Roach, if I do bench Jeffrey this week, pick 3 of 4 to start. Steve Smith, Larry Fitzgerald, Kendall Wright, or Danny Woodhead. I would go Larry Fitzgerald, Wright, and Steve Smith. Like I said, I'd stay away from Woodhead because I'm not sure how San Diego's going to use him with Melvin Gordon and Brandon Oliver. It's just like I don't think he's going to get enough touches. Do you guys think I should keep Matt Jones or David Johnson on my bench? That's a good one. I think I would go Jones. But it's your choice. I would go Jones, but it's your choice. If Mike Evans won't play with hamstring injury, should I start Michael Crabtree or Steve Smith? Steve Smith. I don't like Michael Crabtree. You know it already. Not because he left the 49ers, just because I was actually glad he left the 49ers. But I just don't trust Michael Crabtree. I'd rather still have Steve Smith. Like I said, he's still going to get 6 or 7 catches. You never know if he get a touchdown, but that's Broncos secondary is really good. But I think Cincinnati's defense is good, and they're going to go to Amari Cooper a lot. Yeah, Matt Jones. Do you think that David Johnson is going to do well? Not sure. Not sure yet with him. Will the 49ers beat the Vikings? And what's the score? I actually predicted that game. I'll tell you what I think the score is going to be. 23-19 49ers. I know 19 is a weird number, but now with this 2-point conversion stuff, I think numbers are going to be all weird for the scores. So, yeah. But this fantasy football stuff, this is new this year for me. Every year I try to do a little something more different. Demarius Johnson. No way. Rada, you're killing me. Yep, it does say that. Thank you, Rada. You're the man. It's because I apologize, but my when I was doing these rankings, I when I do the rankings, my wife wanted to help me do the rankings, so I'm trying to be low voice so she doesn't hear me, because she actually typed out the rankings this week for me. I was just telling her the names, but I was trying to monitor the spelling, so she typed out the names. Don't tell her. But I fixed it just now for you. It should say Demarius Thomas now. There you go. But yeah, sorry about that. And my spelling's not great all the time. And like I said, this is a one-man show. For those of you that are new to watching Fantasy Football Fiends this year, I know a lot of you guys have been here last year. I recognize a lot of names, but a lot of you guys are new. To all the new people that watch, I'm a one-man show. I do everything from here, from my house. And it can be a rough thing when you're doing everything by yourself, and it's hard to make everything go as well as planned. But every year I try to change it. Every year I try to do some adjustments. I try to change things, try to make it the best I can to, bring you guys the best visual and best, show I can bring you, because I'm limited. I don't have all the stuff, and plus I have a full-time job, and on top of that I have a wife, and on top of that I have a life. So it's hard to do this all during the, especially that time when I was putting out the rankings and all the other stuff. I put out like 20 videos in a short span of time, and I pretty much didn't see my wife for like 2 weeks. So now all that's over. Now every Tuesday will be the Stardom Situm show, like I said, and every Tuesday, Stardom Situm show. I will try to do this live every Friday and Saturday, depending on what my schedule's like. My wife actually asked me today if I was going to be doing this every week, and I said yes. And I said, but I can change it between Friday and Saturday if you'd like, or I could try to make it Sunday mornings early. But the only problem with making it on Sunday morning is the West Coast people suffer. So I don't know who's watching me on the West Coast, so I feel bad for that. So I don't want to do that to the West Coast people, make you try to get up early to try to ask me questions. So, but I'm always available. Twitter, if I don't answer you right away, or if I don't answer your questions right away on YouTube, it's because I haven't gotten home yet, or I'm not home or anything, and I'm not home in front of my computer to answer. But I try to answer as much questions as I can in the comment section. If I don't get to them, I do apologize. You can always tweet me and try to ask me at the last minute. Like I said, I would try to do my best, but it's a rough ordeal to try to do all that. So I lost my league last year because we told my friend to start Jonathan Stewart, and he had about 20 points. Oh, you lost because I told your friend beat you because of me, or are you joking? Don't make me trolling again, man. Don't make me feel bad. Make me feel bad. I lost my league last year because you told my friend to start Jonathan Stewart, and he had about 20 points. Tell me you're trolling, man. Tell me you won your league. Don't make me feel bad. I wish I had my ring and stuff to show you. Every year I try to enter the NFL.com now to try to win the ring, and they have like the ring leagues and things like that. But they're pretty cool. What do you think about Allen Robinson? I love Allen Robinson. He's a good wide receiver. They have a whole squad of good wide receivers on Jacksonville. They have Marquise Lee. They have Allen Robinson. They still have and they lost Justin Blackman, he was okay, but I mean he was still decent. But they have a host of good wide receivers on Jacksonville, or underrated, I should say, wide receivers on Jacksonville. I'm trying to think of Allen Hurns and Rashad Green, the rookie. So they have pretty good proven wide receivers. Aurelius Ben is not that bad. I mean, he's not your starter, but Marquise Lee, Allen Hurns, Rashad Green, and Allen Robinson are not a bad group of wide receivers. So they have weapons for Blake Bortles. Definitely have weapons. And welcome everybody. Siggy Guns is in the house. What's going on, buddy? I wish you should be doing this with me, man. Should I play Ricky Williams or Ray Rice this week? Depends on what you thinking. Who you think can hit a woman? Who you think can hit a woman better? I think that Ray Rice definitely has proven that he hits a woman better. So I would say play Ray Rice. And sorry, I don't mean anything by that. I don't condone domestic abuse, but that was funny. I'm tempted to play Lockett, but my other receivers are really good as well. I like Tyler Lockett going against the Rams. I do like him a lot too. Him and Doug Baldwin. I think Tyler Lockett's going to actually get a lot of looks this week. But if your other receivers, obviously, I saw your other receivers. Don't play Tyler Lockett over your other wide receivers. No problem, Magmatic. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. Is Josh Gordon an idiot, or is he an idiot, pure talent gone to waste? He's an idiot. He's a complete idiot. I don't understand why you. Oh, he got cut. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. They still have four good wide receivers. Josh Gordon is an idiot completely. I don't understand why you want to do smoke. If you're in the NFL, I get it. You want to smoke weed, whatever. But if you're in the NFL and you know that's going to give you, a problem, and you know you're going to lose millions of dollars by not playing, why would you smoke it? Just stop smoking. Just stop. You're in the NFL. You're in a league, and I get it. People want to say weed's not bad for you, this and that, whatever, but who cares? Stop smoking. You're playing a game that you have the privilege to play. Not many people can play it for long and play it well, and you're doing it. Stop the crap and just play football. Sucks, but whatever. How long do I give Carson Palmer before he injures his knee? I don't know. That offensive line, with how bad they are, it might be fast. I mean, especially if teams gun for it. There's teams that if they're losing, they might gun for his knees and just pretend they fell into it or something. But, he might get injured again. We'll see. Camber Arena, not a troll? Not a troll. Okay. I'm hoping Graham goes big this year. My opponent has Gronk, and he went off. Yeah, Gronk's going to go off almost every week, almost. Yeah, Josh Gordon, get off the weed. Exactly. So if you guys have any more questions, you can ask them now while you can. You got basically, give you 5 minutes. Especially Siggy. Siggy, I know you have some questions for me. Yeah, Jimmy Graham, I think he's gonna have a good season. I don't think he's gonna have the season that he had with the Saints. He doesn't have. I know Russell Wilson's good, but they're not that type of offense. They're not that type of offense where the Saints were just throwing it up to him all the time in the end zone, and they use him like that. I don't think that Jimmy Graham's gonna be used like that this year, but I could be wrong. I've been known to be wrong. Yeah, Martavis Bryant, he's an idiot. I actually have Martavis Bryant on my fantasy football. I have him on two fantasy football teams this year, and a lot of people forgot about him. They just didn't realize he was suspended in there, and I picked him up like late in drafts too. You made your stardom list and all. Are you good? Cool, man. You've made your starter list. Put it on the website. Feel free to put that on there, and save as a draft so I can look at it. um, but yeah, Martavis Bryant, he's another one. I mean, don't waste your time on that weed. Like, just if you're playing in the NFL, you don't need to be doing all that stuff. If you have problems with that, like, just stop. I mean, you're privileged to play in a league where you can make millions for playing a game that's fun. Just play the game. What do I think about Money Manziel? I like Johnny Manziel. I actually don't mind him at all. I think he's a better start than Josh McCown. So I don't know. Josh McCown just too turnover prone for me. I think they should just roll with Money Manziel and let him see what he can do. It looks like he changed a lot this year, but it could be just for publicity or for PR. His PR person's telling him to calm down. You can make a lot more money if you just chill out. But yeah, I like Johnny Manziel. He doesn't bother me. Given what Cleveland has at quarterback, I mean, I think they should just start him. Will Will from the Cowboys, Terrence Williams with the Cowboys have a better year since they might not run this year? Oh, they're going to run. The Cowboys aren't not going to run. Believe me, they still have a good offensive line, and they got three running backs. They're going to run. But yeah, Terrence Williams will have a good year as well. Especially being when you're opposite Dez Bryant, you're going to get a lot of good looks because Dez Bryant commands a lot of attention out there. Over and under Jets would win Siggy Guns. Over and under 8 wins for my Jets is my guess. Luck at Buffalo or Ryan versus Philly. Believe it or not, I will tell you Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan at home. I know that Siggy probably won't agree with me. Maybe not, but Buffalo's defense is ridiculous. And you see what they did to Aaron Rodgers last year, and along with a couple other really good quarterbacks, especially at home with that D. I like Andrew Luck. I think he's going to get some points, but I think Matt Ryan will get more points. What do I think of the Dallas Cowboys running backs? I like Darren McFadden the best out of all three. I actually like Christine Michael. I think he's actually probably the better of the three backs, but he's probably not going to play till week 2 or week 3. They might get him in there in the first one, but he's not going to play a significant role until week 2 or week 3. We'll see. Go Steelers week 2. Screw you, Rada. You kill me, man. Hey, man, Rada, I appreciate all the help, man. You always leave the comments and let me know, see those comments with spelling and everything. I appreciate it. You make me better, man. Trust me, you make me better. I appreciate you, man. Take care, buddy. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. It was great doing this first one. Thanks to everyone who came out. I really, really appreciate you guys. And, one more real quick. Pick one. Stevie Johnson, Terrence Williams, or Torrey Smith. Terrence Williams. I'll tell you right now, Terrence Williams against that horrible Giants secondary. But I'm done. Leave more comments in the comment section if you like. Leave them on my Stardom Cinema Show or tweet me at JT_Magnum816. Tweet Siggy as well, my co-host, at SiggyV on Twitter. Make sure you ask us all the questions. I will try to get to them as much as I can. If I don't, I do apologize. I try. I really try. But thanks for watching the first live show. Appreciate it. And take care. And I'm out. Peace, everybody.